Old school hip hop on the Michael Baisden Show. What is the next level, family? It's not about being negative, not about blaming hip hop. Welcome to the show, a man I have much admiration and respect for. Cornel West.
The work you do, though, brother, is force for good in terms of sustaining dialogue in the community, though, man.
Cornel West is on the Michael Baisden Show, family. And so we can shut the show down now. We can shut it down. How you doing, Mr. West?
Oh, man, I'm blessed to be alive and blessed to be in dialogue with you and the wonderful, precious folk who listen to you, my brother.
Had an opportunity. Juan, dude, do me a favor and get that Summer Madness band for me, because I'm going to talk to this gentleman for the rest of this break, man. We may not even get into a song. Cornel, I saw you on a broadcast with Tavis Smiley.
Oh, my dear brother Tavis.
Yeah, I love Tavis, man. Tell him I said what's up, man. Tavis has always been good to me. Let me say this to you. You said something about the impact of music. You said how, back to slavery, civil rights, that music had an impact. And what did you mean by that, and relate that to where we are today?
Well, I mean, though, brother, that it was music that sustained we dignified Africans on the slave ships, making our way from Africa to the New World, because we didn't speak languages that we can communicate with each other in a deep way. We had to constitute some form of camaraderie and community, and music did that. It preserved our sanity as well as our dignity. And when you look at it from the spirituals on through Louis Armstrong, Sarah Vaughan, Curtis Mayfield, Luther Vandross, Aretha Franklin, on up to Gerald Levert, that music played a fundamental role in sustaining our humanity and dignity and integrity. So when we talk about hip-hop, all we're saying is we want to preserve our dignity, our sanity, and our integrity as human beings and as black people, and music has fundamentally done that. So when you listen to Common, or you listen to Jill Scott, or you listen to Lupe Fiasco, you hear some dignity and integrity. When you listen to some of the other brothers and sisters, they're just making money.
Yeah, I appreciate you being honest about that, Cornel. One of the opportunities that I have here on the show, man, reaching such a vast audience, I really want people to feel good at the end of the day when they, people are going through so many issues, man. You just want them to feel good.
We got to feel empowered, ennobled, and enabled, though, man. We got to be able to have gusto and energy,
That's all a part of what I'm saying, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad that I have the the power to play this kind of music to make people feel the things that I want them to feel, positive, optimistic. And I think that some of the music, emphasis on some, is not allowing us to do that. It's bringing us down, Cornel. It's bringing us down. What do you say about that?
Well, I think that music ought to tell the truth, that there is a time to be down. When your mama's dead, you don't need to be just up. You need to be down. That's the truth. But you need music. You turn on some James Cleveland, and he said, this too shall pass, right?
Yeah.
So he gives you strength to confront the reality, engage what cannot be escaped, but also gives you empowerment to climb that mountain in your life. Well, that's what the best of our music has done. And I do believe there are hip-hop artists who do this. Now, I don't like this trashing of hip-hop at all, though, brother. We got some serious hip-hop artists. A lot of them just can't get contracts and out there on Friday and Saturday night at these poetry jams and things.
And that's why we're trying to give them a voice on the show, man. I've been shouting out for the last few months saying, please send us in your music, man. For me, Cornel, nothing would make me happier than to have an artist who's playing rap, hip-hop, whatever. Even though he's telling the truth, man, it could be something that's not happy music, but it's something that's meaningful and inspiring. And to take that person to number one and say, look, I told you, this artist could be hot.
That's exactly. You know about my CD that's about to drop in June, though, right?
Excuse me, Cornel?
I got a CD coming out in June with Hidden Beach, man, with Prince, Gerald Levert.
Get out of here.
Talib Kweli, M1, A Dead Press, KRS-One, Killer Mike, Rhyme Fest.
Oh!
Malik Yusuf.
When is it coming out, man?
June the 19th, brother.
You got to let me know.
Forget. The Journey of Revelation. No, we throwing down, but what we're doing is we're going back to the origin of hip-hop.
Yeah.
We got Black Thought on there, of course, towering figure right from Philly itself. But all it is, because, I'm Motown, Philly sound, Kurt Mayfield generation.
Right.
I'm no rapper, but I do believe in speaking in the pocket of music to make sure that people can have a danceable education and be empowered in struggle for freedom and justice. And the music has always played a fundamental role in that regard, from Sweet Honey in the Rock with Bernice Reagan in the 1960s on up to our present day.
What do you want to say? A lot of young people listen to our show, man. I'm very proud, and I mention it all the time because I'm proud of it, that we have more young listeners than many hip-hop stations during our time slot.
Wow.
And because I think they enjoy the energy and the positivity and the inspiration of the music. What do you want to say?
Well, I think they're also hungry for your conversation.
Well, I appreciate that, too.
Keep it real.
I appreciate that. What would you say to the young artists, Cornel, who are getting started?
I tell the young artists to thine own self be true, and as night follows day, thou can be false to no man or woman. You got to be true to yourself. It takes courage to be true to yourself, because when you're true to yourself at the deepest level, the way James Brown was, you find sublime freedom in the funk. You find profound love in the funk, but you also find courage in the funk. Because all of us got funk, you know what I mean?
You better believe that.
Oh, Lord.
I was talking to Walter and Scotty Cornel about music.
Oh, Lord.
And man, I tell you, I will never forget, and they emphasize it with so much passion, be true to yourself. And I wonder, how do you overcome the dollars, man, for a lot of these young people, man, the money, man, is just trying to get this money and get paid, and try to understand it's about a legacy, man. How do you want to be remembered? How do you institute that into them, man? And,
I just tell young folk all the time that there's a radical difference between success and greatness. I would like all of them to be successful and have financial prosperity, but more importantly, I want them to be great, though, brother. You see, I'm a Christian. I believe greatness comes in the form of the quality of your service to others.
Check it out.
But the reason why we talk about Malcolm, the reason why we talk about Marcus Garvey, the reason why we talk about A. Philip Randolph, Ida B. Wells Barnett, and Dorothy Height is because there's the quality of their service to others. That's the greatness. So I won't see successful young folk who are aspiring to greatness. I don't want to see successful young folk who have become so obsessed with their success that it becomes an end rather than a means to greatness.
Yeah, the microphone, man, I remember Nas, I know you may not realize if you're listening. Let me tell you something, man.
Tell it, brother.
Nas had a song that, man, at some point I saw it, and it really hit home for me. It was called All I Need Is One Mic. I think it was called One Mic.
Yeah, that's deep. I remember that, man.
And I was like, man.
Over and over again.
Right, this dude, man.
I had to pull over on the road.
Right. I mean, it was like that for me, too. It was one of those moments.
Direct listening to that tape, man.
Right. So I understand the impact of hip-hop, and which is why I think it's very important for the artist to understand you don't know what moment that a young person or older person is listening to your song and what message are you trying to get across?
Right. And the thing about it is, though, brother, you see, time is real. We're not here that long. We make the move from womb to tomb. You have loving attachments and vocational projects, and you hope that the Lord can use you in such a way that you can touch lives before you become the culinary delight of terrestrial worms, my brother.
True that. So it's all about making best use of it. We got Byron Heard's going to be coming back with us. In fact, let me have him say hello to you. I know he wants to say hello to you before we let you go. Byron Heard, say hello to Cornel West.
Brother Cornel West, what's happening, brother?
Oh, my dear brother. How you doing there, man?
I'm beautiful, man. I'm beautiful. But it's good to hear you making that connection and keeping that connection live, and that intergenerational communication is real important, very important.
What I think is very important
to learn from young folk, though, man, and young folk 100% of the future. You know what I mean?
That's true. And one of the things that Byron said at the very beginning of his documentary, Beyond Beats and Rhymes, and I want you to expand on this, Byron, is that Byron said, "I love hip hop." Let me make that perfectly clear. Why did you think that was important, Byron?
Well, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people from within the hip hop community feel attacked and feel defensive is because they feel like the criticism is coming from outside of the culture and from people who don't love it.
Right.
People who don't appreciate it and people who don't know it, which is why I appreciate Cornel West, because you can tell that Cornel West has an appreciation for the music, even though he has a critique about the music.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, I think that's really important. So I wanted to establish myself as somebody who is critiquing hip-hop from a place of love and not critiquing hip-hop from this, from this dynamist place or the corporate media place that sort of, is waging this war against hip-hop.
Yeah, which is the reason why I thought it was very important to have Cornel on. Before we let you go, Cornel, you got to do some things. I want to give you a moment
I was so glad I left my class over in the room. I said, I got to have dialogue with the folks.
I want you to have something to say to the family, and because we're going into the next segment for ladies only, what are mothers and women's responsibility when it comes to making hip-hop music and listening and sharing this music with their children?
No, I think Byron's point is that the sisters have to love us enough to tell us the truth about ourselves. So when we acting up and acting pathetic and violent psychically and physically, we need to be held accountable.
Wow.
But it's got to be informed by the love. See, so when mom tells me something, I don't mind the correction if the compassion is there. And the same is true of our relation to sisters, So that I think the sisters ought to be harsh in a loving way because we need some serious correction.
Well, I tell you what, Cornel, we're going to open up the last hour of the show and allow them to do that. Thank you for being on. Looking forward to.
But you stay strong, my brother. Stay strong, Brother Byron, too. But thank you so much, my